Hello everyone, good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock in Malta, it's noon in the UK, and it's another hour everywhere else in the world, but it's definitely Intrinsiq o'clock. We're here today with Jonas from Intrinsiq. Hi Jonas,
Hey.
how are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Yes. We're both in Malta, so we are now enjoying slightly fresher, within inverted commas, weather, but yes, at least
For
it's,
now.
For now, yes. Jonas, don't burst my bubble. But we're here to talk about what you guys do. So those of you who follow the Schools and Agents page know that we have been working very closely with Intrinsiq for the past number of years. We post articles about Intrinsiq on a weekly basis. So if you go to our website or our social media, you're constantly going to see a feed of information about Intrinsiq. But here today, I want to start by asking you the first question, Jonas. It has been a turbulent year. There's no doubt about that. What have you guys been up to this past year?
Well, this year we were focusing more on our marketing strategy, getting in touch with more people, spreading the word around. In the meantime, we've been focusing on updating our system.
Okay.
I think Mark at the moment is working on the search function, adding more functionality to it, to be honest.
Okay. And when you say, so I'm going to be stopping you every time, because obviously you guys are very technical. So I'm going to try and translate that technical language into more kind of layman terms. When you say the search function, Jonas, what do you exactly mean by that? What search function is being updated?
So our system has a search function mainly for every section. So if it's either students, accommodation, accounts, classroom management, it's all there. What we've been working on is giving each user the option to customize a search that he needs to reduce the possibility of results as possible. So from this section,
so to narrow it down, so to speak.
Yes, to narrow it down as much as possible. Each search can be saved for a later use. For example, if it's something you use weekly, you just go to a saved search, and it will load up the results according to that week or the dates you choose.
Okay, so if we had to translate this information perhaps into a more specific example, let's say we're talking about the accommodation department within a school. How can the accommodation manager make use of the search function? What can he search for, and how can he or she save these options?
Well, it depends on, since our system is custom built, it depends on what the school chooses to have, but they can search for active or non-active host families, for example. Host families in certain areas, host families with single rooms, host families that have that cater for special diets, or all of the above. So you can narrow it down to a specific host family that's in a certain area, caters for celiacs, has a single room available, and obviously at a particular time.
Exactly. So let's say a school receives a booking of a student who has these particular requests in terms of accommodation, rather than calling each and every single host family that the school has in order to find out whether they offer these options. The accommodations manager can simply go into the Intrinsiq system, search for all of these criteria, and narrow down the host families who offer that, and then only contact those people to check for availability.
At the same time, if a booking is done, the system automatically lists all these families that have all these requirements, and there's a percentage of compatibility. So if you're looking to allocate a student to a host family with all those requirements, the system will automatically list what is available and caters for all that, and you can just simply allocate at the click of a button.
So I was going to say, so that really reduces the amount of time that people spend allocating students into the right host family. Because
Obviously.
normally it would take so much more time, especially when it comes to doing research.
Yes. So
Okay.
our system, we also have a host family portal in place where host
Okay.
families can insert holiday dates, unavailabilities. Let's say if one room is being restored or they're going to paint a room, so it's not available for the whole week, they can list it down. So really and truly, once you're in the system, you don't have to call each and every host family to check if they have availabilities and supply the dates and everything. The system will do everything for you.
Automatically records that. Okay. Okay.
While we're on the
So
subject,
okay, go
if
ahead.
I may,
Yes, of course.
once you allocate a student, you just have to click on send an email, and the host family will receive an email with a link, and they can view the details of the student, and they just can confirm whether they want to confirm the booking or not. If they choose to confirm, it's automatically assigned to them. If they don't, it will show up on your students that need to be allocated again.
I see. Okay, so kind of that allocation, so to speak, is lost. It falls, and then
Exactly.
it's marked as pending.
On the list, so you don't forget it, basically.
Okay. Interesting. A lot of updates, and we've already spoken a lot about the accommodation,
Yes.
but I know that over the past year, and especially based on the conversations you've been having with your clients, you've made other updates to the system. For example, in terms of the academics department, because that is another big department within the school, which has undergone huge changes this past year and a half. How has that affected you, and how have you been able to make the necessary arrangements or changes to your software for that?
Okay, so as we like to point out a lot, the system is custom made. So the updates are not just things that we get off the top of our head. We talk to our clients say, listen, this would be nice. We incorporate everything, and then obviously the basis of the system will reflect all those statistics that we go through. The classroom allocation system is a sort of a two-page in one. So on one side, you have a list of students that need to be allocated, while on the left side, you have a list of classes which you can add or reduce according to what you need. So basically, it's a simple system of drag and drop the students to the classroom that is of his level, his or her level.
Okay. And obviously, one other thing, because I remember writing articles about it and posting articles about it for you guys, is that you also did a lot of work when it comes to attendance tracking. So now attendance is all contactless. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so attendance has two options. I mean, we started working on this due to the COVID situation. We have two options. One option is, which is quite generic. Each teacher has a login to their teacher portal, which they can access over their phone. And on this portal, they can see their timetable as well as a class list and a student list for each class. What they can do is, if they're in a classroom, they just tick the person who is present in class, and they just click submit. And basically, the system is updated straight away. So if there's someone in the staff room who needs to check whether a student is already in class or not, within 5 minutes of the start of class, they will know who is in and who is out.
Exactly. So this is also valuable and very useful for those schools that run annexes.
Yes,
so, and I was explaining this to my husband this morning during our walk. We're talking about Intrinsiq and what you do. And I said, I remember, because for those of you who don't know, Jonas and I and Lynn used to work in the same school many years ago. So we remember the good old days of actually running, and sometimes really running, to the annex when something happens, when there is a student who's missing, for example.
Exactly.
And this is something that obviously I, as an ex-DOS in a school, appreciate a lot. Because rather than having to go to the annex, remember Maltese summers are really hot, on foot, in the middle of a heat wave to check whether the students are there. You can get a live update from the comfort of your air-conditioned office, and you can know whether the students are there or not. You can know whether there are any problems. So this is something that obviously, and especially for those schools that do run annexes, it's something that is really important and really valuable and useful, and it saves time, because obviously it takes time to go to the annex, to check, to come back. So, I mean, everything that you guys do, sorry, I'm just going to
because
finish this.
on the other hand, it also helps a teacher. So the other way around. So let's say a teacher is assigned to an annex, which is a bit far away. They already have their timetable straight on their phone, so they don't have to come to the main office to check the timetable.
Exactly.
So it works both ways.
And it also reduces the number of people going in and out of the office. It also reduces, I mean, let's be honest, the headaches given to the admin people in the school, with students asking, where do I have to go and where is my class? So all of these, all of these things are very useful, and they really help to make things more efficient. And I think if there is one thing that you guys at Intrinsiq do, it's make things efficient. Another point I'd like to mention, unless there's something you want to add here, Jonas.
No, I don't know if you're going to mention the same thing, but while we're on the subject, we also have a student portal.
Okay, no, I wasn't going there.
The same function. So basically, a student can access their timetable, their results, everything else. So you avoid having them all crowd up in the administration building, especially with all the protocols that are in place at the moment.
Of course.
The idea is to not overwhelm the receptionist with all these basic questions like, where's my timetable? Where's my class? Did it change? They have everything on they can access everything from their phone.
Exactly. And whenever there are updates, they receive those updates into their phone as well. We're speaking about an exceptional situation. I mean, something that has caused our industry, it has led to a lot of changes in our industry. But you guys have also taught about the, perhaps certain risky or crisis management, so to speak, situations. There is a button. I mean, Intrinsiq is all about these magic buttons. You press something and so many things happen. You also have this magic button which you can press and it sends out automated emails, messages. What's that all about?
We have two similar things. One sends out an automatic email, either to all the students or to all agents. Let's say at the moment, the government is changing regulations from time to time. So this, you can just prepare one email and email it to all your agents, basically, at just a click of a button. On the other hand, we also have an automatic SMS system. So let's say something happens, or while at school, there needs to be a quarantine. You can just click this button and it will automatically send it to all the students that are currently at the school.
Exactly. So you edit the text to whatever it is you want to say, click that. And why SMS? We've already discussed this, but I would love our listeners to know.
At this day and age, everyone is opting for WhatsApp. However, we have looked into that because we're always trying to update, and it's extremely expensive. So much so that it probably is cheaper to do the SMS thing, rather than having WhatsApp. Then again, obviously, you get it on your phone. I know nowadays people get internet connection on their phone, but let's say the crisis includes, I don't know, something happens to the internet, or where they are, there's no Wi-Fi,
Of course.
they can at least get the SMS.
Exactly. And I think that is really useful, especially when, for example, we're talking about teens, because perhaps when we as adults are traveling, when we as people in business are traveling, you know, we have to stay connected all the time. But if you are, let's say, a younger person, perhaps on a top-up, you know, kind of system, maybe, yes, they do. Or if you're coming from, let's say, a country outside of the EU, and to stay connected on 3G, you have to pay a lot of money.
Yes.
So yes, for those reasons, I think it's very, very useful and very intelligent from your side to have opted for SMS. So, okay, we've discussed a few of these features. Now, one of the things we mentioned at the beginning of today's chat is that throughout this past year, you've also been having a lot of conversations with clients. What have you gathered? I mean, what features are schools looking for nowadays? I know Intrinsiq is custom built.
Yes.
But perhaps are there any features which seem to be popular, which seem to be, you know...
The most popular features are these automated ones. So, like I mentioned, the accommodation feature where you can, at the click of a button, find out who is the best host family for that student, and you go ahead and click. Even the classroom management, which is, as we said, you have all the functionality in one page, so you don't have to go back and forth. Also, the dashboards that we have are quite popular. So basically, each department...
What do they do in the dashboards? Yeah.
Okay, so whenever you log in, it will show the dashboard that pertains to your department.
Okay.
So in that page, you have all the functionality, all the tasks, all the daily tasks you do that you need to reach out to, that you need to do. So you have it all in one place. So as soon as you log in the morning, you see, okay, so this is urgent, this is not. I have to...
I see.
So
it's like a to-do list.
Yes, it's like a to-do list. Yes.
Okay.
Also, what customers like is the diary system.
Yes.
And it's also tied to the dashboard, basically. So our system has a diary system, which is linked to either a host family, an agent, a student. Once you can allocate any diary entry to each student, and you can assign it to a colleague or a department. So basically, you can avoid all these emails nonstop. You have it all in the system, and once your colleague logs in, it will ping him that he has to deal with something urgent.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you over here to explain this step by step. Okay. So basically what happens is that on the Intrinsiq system, the school can track the customer journey, can track the student's journey right from the moment of booking, even pre-booking, including the requests and all the emails that the student sends, to the very end when the student leaves the school, and perhaps feedback post-visit after, which means that if something happens, or if you need to inform the agent about something, or if the academic manager needs to inform the school manager about something, or the teacher, or the accommodations department, all of the student's journey will be recorded in this diary system.
Exactly.
So it is
like a timeline.
Exactly. It is like a timeline. It is like a full history, so to speak, of the student's experience at the school, which makes it very efficient when, like we said, you need to, let's say, go back to previous emails that the student had sent, rather than looking through your Outlook or your Gmail, looking through your inbox to find this one email, which, sod's law, you never happen to find when you need it. This way, you make sure that everything is going to be in front of you in chronological order.
Yes. And
which could also help, which could also help to perhaps even identify certain patterns, let's say, in the student's behavior or in the parent's behavior. So it makes it interesting in that way as well. Sorry, I stopped you, but I get very excited.
That's okay. What I was going to mention was the fact that you can we don't have a user limit, so basically we try to promote each staff member has their own login.
Okay.
The idea is if they add a diary entry, you know who did a change, you
I
know who,
see.
so you have a complete update of what's happening in the student's stay while at the school.
Okay. Okay. Yes. And that is another important point. That, yes, because you mentioned it in passing, but I think it's very important for our listeners to really understand that with Intrinsiq, you don't have any user limit. You can have as many users on the school management system as you like. There's no limit to that. And another thing which we haven't mentioned yet, which I was going to mention before, but I need to mention now, is a thing that a lot of schools, I think, come to you with, the fact that Intrinsiq is a cloud-based system.
Yes.
Why is it important nowadays for a system like yours to be on the cloud?
Well, what COVID has taught us, I think it has taught everyone, is that you need to be able to work from anywhere. So that's why the cloud system is important, because I mean, if you're stuck at home or on quarantine, let's say, you can open your laptop, log in, and basically you have everything you need to do your daily job. Apart from that, I mean, well, there's a list of things that
Bit
I
from
can
my
think.
end, Jonas.
Yes.
So it might you might want to.
No.